Okay, great. So hi, everybody. I'm Taylor. I am the head of the HFC Pitch Program. What we're going to be going through today, we're going to do some introductions because we have some new faces to the executive team and the board that we'd like to introduce you to. Then we're going to get through our Pitch 101 from Mary, and she's going to give you tips and tricks to get those pitches ready for our pitch event in February. We're going to have plenty of time for questions for that. And we have a couple of pitch winners who are going to be participating today and tell us everything they learned about going through the HFC pitch cycle. Then we're going to get to the pitch info session for those who are looking to pitch in February. We're going to talk about what you need to do to get ready for that and how to register and all of that good stuff. And then at the very end of the event, if you are thinking about pitching in the future, we're going to stick around. And if you would like to kind of practice your pitch or get some advice on it, we're going to stick around at the very end of the event so you can go through that. So if you would like to do that, go ahead and send me your name in the chat and I'll keep track of that. Okay, so without further ado, first, I'm going to kick it over to the new executive director of HFC, Ms. Jana Park-Moore.
Oh, hi.
Just a quick intro so they can see your face. And,
yeah, absolutely. No, Mary gave me a heads up.
Awesome.
So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And to the HFC team, thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing and that we're planning to do in 2022. Like Taylor said, I'm Jana Park-Moore. I've been with HFC in some form or another, I think for about 5 years. And I usually run the 48-hour film challenge and all that. And now I'm stepping in a little bit with more leadership, but really this is the executive team that you see here. All these people are the amazing wheels behind everything. So I want to say thanks. If you're new to HFC, I just want to give a real quick what we do. And basically we want to foster and support and showcase local filmmakers and their art, performers, artists throughout the entire state. And so we're excited about that. We've had some exciting events coming up this year, our 48-hour film challenge. We're adding a 72-hour film challenge. But of course, I think we're most excited right now about this pitch. And then I just want to give a quick shout out to Chris, who's here. Chris, how do you pronounce your last name?
James.
James. Okay. I didn't want to say it wrong. So Chris asked if I thought he should join us. And I said, absolutely, because Chris is here in town. Right now he's working on Magnum PI, and I believe your partner is one of the regulars on Magnum PI. And he's an accomplished writer and director. So I just wanted him, I said, come on down to this event and share any expertise or 2 cents. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'll pass it back to Taylor.
And then I'm going to pass it right on over to Tom Schneider.
Hey all, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Chris, for joining us, and everyone coming in and seeing what this is all about. We have a few familiar faces and a few new ones, and that's great to see. And then our great team that works for HFC. My name is Tom, and me and Kainoa started HFC about 7 or 8 years ago. And it was just 2 of us, and now we have close to 200 members. So it's grown quite a bit, and people have put so much of their effort and passion into, this idea, this whole concept of supporting each other. It's hard to make films, and we figured why not try to help each other out, so it maybe gets a little bit easier, and we can support each other, we can build teams, we can create films together. And we're now in a position too that we're able to put in a little bit of money support with the projects that we select. So we're growing, and we're putting out more and more films. We've already created 50+ films through this whole concept. So we're hoping to get some amazing pitches this time around. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So everybody here is volunteer. No one gets paid. We do it out of passion and love for film and supporting other creatives. Pitch was one of our first events that we've ever done, and it's the most important one because it's all member driven. You guys dictate who wins the funding, who wins the use of the space. So it's all member driven. And I'm so happy to see all these faces. It's been rough for the pandemic, being isolated by yourself, hardly getting any social interaction, but seeing this makes my heart warm. We're gonna go to, I want to introduce some new people. I would like to introduce Dane Neves, Wave. He jumped on our executive board of directors. He's an accomplished filmmaker, puppeteer, musician. Yeah, you name it, he does it. Does everyone kind of know? This has got a lot of new faces. So there's Tom and I. There's Taylor. She's running our pitch. And our Mary, way in Las Vegas. She's still helping from way out there. She was our past executive director. She's moved on to a more intensive role with Maui Total Visual. And she passed on the torch to Jaina. And then we also have those two past 8 pitch winners who are going to give you some inside tips and tricks and what they've went through. Jennifer, her film, In Our Own Hands, is doing so great and it's going around. She's winning awards. I'm amazed by her. I've seen her progress and her journey. It's amazing just to watch it. And then we have Carlton, who also did a film during the pandemic and was able to knock it out of the park with that. And now, anything else, guys?
Julian, don't forget Julian.
Oh, and Julian, my man. How did I forget about you? Julian. He's our guy who does the showcasing. He'll do, every once in a while, he'll do like a little spotlight on filmmakers or individuals within the industry and kind of help them talk to you guys either through one of these or through a video. And he's our head of our showcasing programs. Yeah, with that, Mary, would you like to?
Yes, thank
get
you.
started?
As you can see, it's a team effort. So it's a well-oiled machine. I just want to make sure, though, I've been emailing a couple people. Is Dylan here or Chris? I just was emailing y'all. I want to make sure everyone got in. Okay, cool. Thank you for being so flexible. It is a miracle we can operate so virtually. So I'm gonna drop a PDF in the chat. So feel free to use it for your own research. My window is so small, but basically I'm here to tell you what you should already know about pitching. So I'm going to be kind of like the pastor, if you will, at the front of the pulpit, telling you edit your scripts more and practice your pitches more. But I created an infographic specifically for this call, for you to walk through and check yourself on how your pitch is doing. It's pretty basic. It's 6 steps. I've been with HFC for almost 4 years. So I've been through 12, well, -2 pandemic pitches. So 10 pitch cycles. And so I've seen a large variety of pitches, and 90% of the time, if you run through this checklist, you will have a very effective pitch. Now, I don't want to say a winning pitch because you're here to learn about the HFC program specifically, which that is member voted. So it doesn't actually matter if your pitch is really good. It's up to the membership vote. And so we'll touch on that with Taylor in a little bit, and then we'll talk about it on my infographic. So let me share my screen. Also, like my driving, I have no ego. So if you have a question, if you see a truck coming my way, please stop me, ask a question. Let me know if there's something that's unclear. But we'll scroll to the top. Am I ready to pitch? So my first question to everyone, who has a film ready to go? Who has a script, who has a story idea? You can raise your hand. I'm looking at you. Sort of, I can see me and Taylor. We have very few hands. Oh, there's one hand. Okay. Yeah. All right. I see 4, I think. Okay. So have you practiced your pitch? Have you run through your tone, your genre, your log line, which is step number 2? Have you practiced the 3-minute pitch, which is, again, Taylor will go through that. Have you recorded yourself? We all have phones. If you haven't done this, if you haven't practiced, you're probably not ready. You really need to be able to step back and hear yourself, because like I said, it's a member vote. So if you can hear yourself and over recording and you realize, oh, I say a lot of ums, I don't really get my point across, I don't drive the emotion home, just practice a lot more, okay? If you don't practice, you're not ready. I love the HFC membership, so I'm going to be tough love about this, but if you haven't practiced, it's not going to be a very effective pitch. If you have practiced, like you all will, before February 20th, let's move on to the next one. Is your log line clear? This I feel is important. You can have the most effective producer, the most effective director, an amazing DP. If your story isn't driving home emotionally with your audience, it's not gonna be an effective pitch. Again, I'm not gonna say a winning pitch, because the goal of the collective is for us to make each other's films in perpetuity. Like we could have 5 amazing stories and 1 winner, and I hope we're all gonna make those 5 films. If your log line isn't hitting home with the audience emotionally, it's probably a pass. The best salesmen can sell you something you didn't know you cared about. You can scroll through Netflix and see a trailer for something that is a genre you'd never use. And the reason you're interested is because it's emotionally impacting you. It's emotionally connecting with you. So, and that comes in the log line, especially for the HFC pitch. That's really important, because again, you only have 3 minutes to get your story, your logistics, and to hit us home with why you should win the $1,000. So if your log line isn't super clear, it's probably a no. You're not quite ready to pitch. The third step, so if your log line is super clear, do I know what the sponsor is looking for? So you all are in the best Zoom call right now, because Taylor's going to run through the logistics of the HFC pitch. You have 3 minutes and then 3 minutes for questions. Ask Taylor, ask the board members, ask everyone that's here as many questions as you want, because as you'll find out and you move forward in the film industry, if you don't know what your sponsor wants, that might be a pass. If you forget a really important element to the application, which HFC does have an application process, that's an automatic out. I don't mean to be super blunt about this, but if you're not prepared, like, if you don't write your name on your test, you're gonna fail. Again, I'm here to tell you what you already should know. So before we move on to step 4, I just want to touch on this. Can you all see it okay? You can just nod your head. I see a couple of you. Okay. Avoid oversharing. Avoid 2 things. This is kind of a common thing I see a lot at HFC and pitching in general. Avoid oversharing on technicalities and details. A lot of people will be like, I'm going to shoot on this camera. I have this person locked in as my actor, which maybe they do or don't have. Technicalities doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an effective film or an impactful film. You're selling your pitch based on emotional impact and logistics. The HFC pitch is amazing. It's not like Sundance or Netflix contract where you have to have like a ton of ducks in the row. We want to make sure that you're including the membership and that you can get it done in a decent amount of time. So if you kind of have like a lot of stunts, maybe rethink doing an entire like feature and just like one scene that's going to drive the emotion. Be realistic about the details and technicalities. It's not necessarily something that's going to make your pitch effective. And then avoid believing your background or contacts will save you from an effective pitch. I hope that's pretty self-explanatory, but I moved to Hawaii and then 4 months later with no film experience, got the $1,000 from HFC. So you can really have zero experience, but if your pitch is effective, you will come home with a smile on your face. All right, so step 4, let's say you do know what the sponsor is looking for. That's a yes. How many of you are liking my infographic? You can like smile and nod. Okay, cool. I'm like really happy because I was working in Canva and it was not easy. Do you have a script breakdown? If your answer is no, that's okay. Just because you don't have a script breakdown doesn't mean you're going to have an ineffective pitch. If you go over to the left side, HFC has a large directory of producers, directors, actors. We have a lot of actors. Our Facebook group is pretty active. As a pitch winner, you're going to get support from the executive team. So that doesn't mean you're going to have an ineffective pitch if you don't have all this lined up. A script breakdown is pretty easy. You can run through it in like 15 seconds. I have 5 actors, 3 males, 2 females, 2 locations, and instantly the whole room understands the scope of your project. And that was 15 seconds of 0 emotional impact. So you can save a lot of that time for believing that I have to see this film, that I have to vote for your project. So once you have a script breakdown because you've networked with filmmakers in HFC, you probably have a team now. You don't have to have a full-fledged team to have an effective pitch. It is important to, I would say, the membership. Again, you're pitching to the sponsor. A good friend of mine, if you know him, Michael Palmieri, he'll say you're pitching the person in front of you. At HFC, we love to see people involved with each other's films. So if you're a one-man, one-woman band, that probably doesn't bode well for confidence in the membership. And again, they're the ones that are voting. If you're like, I'm doing it on my own, I have this and this and this, that might turn off a lot of the actors that are going to vote for your film. Sorry, someone entered the waiting room, so I got
And
struck.
just a really quick note on that, there actually is, as part of the contract for the pitch winner, a requirement that 50% of cast and crew is HFC members.
50%. So that member directory is going to be really important. I know that it's really tough with the pandemic, and our goal is to be really communicative with you throughout your process. But if you don't win, also like offer to help out with that project. I mean, like I said, your background, you can have no experience, and it's often the best thing to help each other out because you never know when you're going to need to have a bone thrown your way. So if you don't have your team, look at the directory. If you do have a team, you are doing really well on this infographic, let me tell you. Do I know how I will, spelled that wrong, use the funds? I'll resend this in a different email. Do I know how I'm going to use the funds? Oftentimes people will spend maybe a little bit over $1,000, depending on the scope of your work. You could spend under, but you can run through a pretty brief budget very, very quickly in your pitch. And that's important because you've already hooked me emotionally. You've gotten me addicted to your story. Like, I want to see it in 4 months. Then you tell me that your camera cost is going to be $900. You're going to have to feed your crew. You're going to have to pay $25 of locations fees. Like, being realistic very quickly on your budget will help the membership who's voting with a large amount of confidence for your project. Hook me emotionally, get me convinced logistically this is going to work. Tell me how you're going to use your funds. I apologize, I misspelled that. Okay, cool. You know how you're going to use your funds. If you don't, there's a lot of producers that in our directory that know how to work with budgets. Carlton being one of them. Jennifer also did a great job. why you should care about my story. Have you hit on this question? It's cyclical. Pitching is cyclical. You need to tell me why I need to see your story, convince me how logistically it's going to work, and then remind me again, I have to see this story. Ask yourself if you're prepared to answer this question. And if you're ready to answer this question, you are ready to pitch. Cool. No questions. I'm so impressed with my infographic, except for the one spelling error. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Does anyone have any questions for me? I know I zipped through that, and I promise I will export it with the right spelling and send it in an email.
And if anyone didn't catch that, you do have 4 months, right? Peeps?
Yeah.
4 months from the winning of the pitch and 4 months to finish your film.
Yeah, I want to double down on that point, Kainoa. Thank you. We've set up a really nice installment process that if you don't finish your film in 4 months, you just won't get the last payment. So it's really good incentive. So 4 months is like a pretty decent deadline to get your full $1,000. Again, Taylor will go through all this detail.
And it's not to be like, we're holding, it's to mainly just like light a fire underneath our butts, because sometimes as life will get us and we'll just put things to the side. So like as a filmmaker, I like to have people keeping me accountable and pushing me into the end of my end goal, which is a film.
Yeah, and back to the third point of the infographic, like, do you know what the sponsor wants? HFC is really interested in getting films made. And so the installment process enforces that goal. We want you to finish your film. We want you to be elevated by the membership. We want you to meet people. The best incentive for that is money installments. No questions. So let's move on.
I have a question. I know the answer, but I'm not sure if everybody does. So I'm asking the question. So HFC is handing out $1,000 to make the film. Does that have to meet my whole budget? Or what if I come with my own $5,000? Can I just add 1,000?
That you can definitely add your own personal funds. I think in a pitch context, use personal discretion on, like how you're going to say that to the membership. I think if you say, oh yeah, I'd like the HFC $1,000 and I'm going to contribute 50,000 of my own dollars, it probably would convince the membership, like, you don't need help. And I mean, pitching is like gambling. Like, you want to use your cards wisely. So if you have $50,000, like, that's awesome. We're 501c3, donate to us. But do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes, but the membership is going to vote on all of your films. And there's one person that goes home with the contract with $1,000.
Yeah.
So,
and the usage of the space here.
Yep, usage of the space as well. You have access to all of us as a team. So you just have to be strategic with what you're sharing in your pitch. Is that fair? Is that a fair strategy?
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
And for anybody who's maybe feeling a little lost or scrambling to write down all of those items, we are going to go over it, and we do have a link with all of this information for you to revisit later. So don't panic.
We are also recording this, so we'll pop it on our member portal. So if you're paying the monthly due, it'll be inside our video link. This is a very expressive Zoom call. I feel like so encouraged. So I think we're gonna pass it off. Taylor and I are gonna pass it off to Jennifer. So Jennifer pitched, is that correct? Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Jennifer pitched in January 2021. So she's coming up on an annual celebration of being a graduate of our pitch meeting. And she's gonna actually run through her pitch. We can pause the recording. I think that would be fair. Just for safety of Jennifer's IP.
Okay.
And
We are recording, and let's see if I can get my screen up. Okay, is everybody able to see this?
yes.
We got it. Great. Actually, start the slideshow. Wonderful. Okay, so welcome to the HFC Pitch Program. I am Taylor. I am the head of the pitch program, and I am the point of contact. So if you have any questions about the program at all after this event, there is my email right there. You can reach out to me and I will get back to you. I'm a former Coast Guard officer turned filmmaker, and like so many of us in independent film, wear a lot of hats with sound design and editing and directing and writing and all that fun stuff. And just so honored to be a part of the executive team. I've been with HFC since late 2019, which was not great timing, but I have gotten to participate in a lot of our great events. And I took over as the head of the pitch program in mid 2020. Holy cow. So it's been, you know, we're doing the best we can with what we have during a global pandemic, and the program has shifted and changed with HFC and just with what's going on in the world, and we're adapting as best we can to get everything we can out of the program and give as much support as we can while also keeping everybody safe. So also as the head of the pitch program, I am going to be the one reaching out to the pitch winner and checking in on them during their pitch cycle to keep them on track with the timeline, answer any questions, give any support that I can, and just help finish the film. So as we're going through this, if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll answer as many questions as we can as we go through, and we'll keep track of those. So if we don't get to every question by the end of this, we can reach out to you individually and make sure you have all the answers you need to be prepared to pitch. And you can also ask questions at the end, raise your hand, and we will get through this. And then of course, feel free to reach out to me if questions come up later. So the vision of the HFC Pitch Program is to have a program which supports independent filmmakers to complete their pitch-winning films at the highest possible quality, and also build community and relationships within HFC. So those who participated in the HFC Ohana Production Shelter kind of saw what it was like when HFC all came together and focused their attention a little more on one film. And we were really inspired by that process and everybody working together in that way. And so we wanted to be able to bring that into the pitch program so that the pitch winner really gets the full support of the HFC community. So we also wanted to create a format that would help filmmakers who pitch but maybe don't necessarily win. So there is value to pitching your project to HFC, even if you're not the winner at the end of the cycle. Doesn't mean you're not going to get support or value out of the program. So we want to provide opportunities and a structure that is going to benefit the filmmaker moving forward in their craft and help you hone the skills that you take forward with you. But we also want to build relationships within the community. And the pitch program really helps get your film out there in front of members. So people who might be a good fit that you haven't met before, you haven't had the opportunity to network with, they can reach out to you and say, hey, I like your film, I want to help make it, or I can fill this role. So if you're looking for certain people to help in certain positions, Pitching to HFC really does help fill those gaps. It's also hopefully going to increase the likelihood of you completing your film, having all of that support from the HFC team. And it creates more opportunity for our members who are looking to build their skill sets and network with you and help work on each other's films. So the benefits to you as the filmmaker, if you pitch, you're going to get that focused effort and $1,000 to help make your film, while also, as I said, creating opportunities for members and helping you build your network within the HFC community. We want to provide you with ways to improve your skills. We have so much expertise and knowledge on this team and in our community. We want you to be able to tap into that to help build your skill set. And we want to be able to help promote your film. So we are going to go through that a little bit. It's part of the requirement for the pitch winner. And we want to be able to support each other through this process, not just from the team, but from the community. We are also providing constructive feedback on pitches. So when you pitch, and I'll go over this in a little more detail so you can see what's involved, you're going to get feedback from the people who listen to your pitches. So that'll help you really hone that pitch and make it as effective as possible so that you can really make an impact with it and get your film made. We're also including the producers table and the writers room as part of the process. So if you're new to HFC, we have monthly producers table and writers room, which is where producers, writers, and we have a directors room as well, can come together and talk about their projects and get feedback and help from the HFC community. So we're including that as part of the pitch process so that you can use those events to help with your film and get feedback and support and help. So pitching requirements. We require before you pitch to submit a logline, a treatment, and the filmmaker bio. So if you're the writer, you're going to be the producer, you're going to be the director, whichever HFC member is pitching this film, we need their bio. And we just want to encourage you to create those materials because it's a good skill and it'll help you prepare for future pitches. But we also require it now so to help you prepare for the pitch. So you at least have that information when you come into the pitch meeting. We want to know and have your desired role defined in the production. Are you going to be the writer, the producer? Are you an actor? We do need to know that before you pitch. It is also a requirement to be an HFC member. You have to be a member to pitch, and you do have to be a member throughout the entire pitch cycle should you win. So that's a 4-month time frame that membership is required. So that's to just provide a structure that'll give practice opportunities and elevate the filmmaker skills. You also have to be a member to vote on the pitches and attend the actual pitch session. That's because we are choosing somebody to give $1,000 to within our community. So that is a member benefit to be able to vote in that process. So you pitch and you win and you get that $1,000. There are some requirements. We are requiring 50% HFC members as part of the cast and crew because the spirit of this is to make more films together. So we do require that as part of your production. We do ask for attendance at the producers table or writers room, whichever is applicable to your role in the film. So if you're the writer of the film and you pitched it and you win, you don't necessarily have to go to the producers lab, but the producers table, but going to the writers room would be a requirement and also a great opportunity to just smooth out anything that needs smoothing out, make sure that your film is ready to be made within the pitch cycle. Our project is funded in installments, as we mentioned earlier, and there are certain things that have to be completed before you get that payment installment. So we'll go over the specifics of that. The final cut of the film is due the day of the next pitch meeting. So about 4 months from when you deliver your pitch, the final cut of your film is due at that next pitch. All right, so these are the funding milestones. First installment is when you have completed your budget and your shooting draft of your script. The second is when you have your production dates locked and scheduled. The third is when you have completed filming. And then the fourth milestone is delivery of final cut. Now we monitor that with mostly communication through me. When you finish your shooting draft in your budget, you'll send me the PDF or the Excel, whatever you're using. Send me a screenshot of your Google Calendar to let us know when your production dates are. And then pretty easy, just let me know when shooting is completed, and then a viewing of the final cut for the final installment. So that's really just checking in with me, letting me know you've finished those milestones. And there's no set timeline within the pitch cycle to complete these. So just as soon as you have that milestone complete, let me know, and we will be able to write you the check for that installment. Is that pretty clear? That's great. Okay, so this we went over with, just a reminder. If you are going to pitch next month, you do need to be an HFC member. You're going to submit what when you're going to submit those budgets and the updates, and also when you finish your milestone and you're looking for that next installment, you're going to send an invoice to HFC for that $250 installment. We do have a contract that lists all of this that we ask the pitch winner to sign. And as I mentioned, you're required to attend the producer's table, the writer's room. And also, because we want to help promote your film, send us promotional materials. If you have behind the scenes pictures or videos, or when you have a poster, feel free to send it to us, because we'd love to put it out on our social media platforms and help get the word out about your film and promote it. Okay, so the day comes for you to pitch. Every member has a single vote. We also provide a pitch assessment, which I'll show you in detail, and pitch feedback. So we provide to the members who are attending the pitch meeting an assessment to help them kind of guide them through assessing your pitch, looking at what elements are really solid, what elements of the pitch need a little bit of work. We have some rubrics to kind of help guide them through assessing your pitch. And then we also have a Google form where they can provide constructive feedback that will be sent to each pitcher at the end of the pitch meeting, so that they can look back and just get some advice and look at where they maybe need to polish up their pitch or see what's really strong and really working. So we want to provide that as a tool to the pitchers to help you get that pitch as strong as it can be. So that's another reason that this whole process is so valuable. Even if you don't win the pitch cycle, you get to practice and you get to get in front of a bunch of people, a bunch of filmmakers, and get their professional feedback, which is an invaluable tool. It's so helpful. And all members can pitch. That includes the executive team can vote. So this is a little screenshot of the pitch assessment. We're looking at creative development. So they're thinking, how developed is the idea for this film? Have you communicated to the people who are attending the pitch meeting that you have a solid idea and you know what you're going to film, and have you communicated that to them? Also, producibility. They're going to be looking at, can this film be completed within the pitch cycle and within the budget that was that the filmmaker comes up with. So that's how the assessment is going to look coming back to you. So you look at this and like, oh, okay, they understood what I was trying to say. So my creative development is really strong, but maybe I need to communicate a little more that this film really is producible within this time frame and I'm going to get it done. So that's how you can use the assessment to really strengthen your pitch. So this is the rubric that we give to help people kind of consider the producibility of a pitch. They're going to look at how long is the script, how many principal actors are required, how many locations, what resources do you need and what do you have, and how much other like visual effects or stunt work or extra items are needed for your film. So this is given out to every member to help guide them through the assessment process. And also good things to consider when you're putting your pitch together to communicate the producibility of your project. All right, so the award, you actually really get a lot more than just $1,000 towards your film. You also get studio time at the HFC studio, approximately 32 hours, which works out to about $1,000. So you can use that for your production meetings or auditions, whatever you see fit. That space is going to be available to you as the pitch winner. Also, we host your premiere. So after the next pitch cycle, we set up a premiere just for your film. Used to be in person. The last couple we have had to do virtual for safety reasons. And however, I have to say, I think it worked out great because we had people, I'm pretty sure we had people from other countries come to some of the premieres, and we can reach such a wide audience with virtual. So, TBD on what's going to happen in the future, if we can get together to host your premiere at HFC, but there are benefits to having your premiere digital or virtually as well. We've had pretty big audiences for the last two pitch winners, which we did have to do virtual premieres for, but that is something that HFC will host for you. So that you can premiere your film for your friends and family and crew and contacts and anyone you see fit to invite. So really, you're not just getting $1,000. The total award with all of that is a value of at least $2,500 that you're getting for your film. So a requirement for the film, should it be a pitch winner, is that HFC is an executive producer. So we'll be credited as an executive producer in your film. That does not mean that we have any financial ownership and no creative input with that. We are just listed as an executive producer. Unless an HFC executive team member is also part of your crew, that's totally different, but HFC as an entity does not have any creative decisions in your film. But as I said, we don't have any financial ownership of the film, but feel free to make a donation if you start raking in the bucks when your film goes viral. And this is all included in the contract that the pitch winner will have to sign. So as I mentioned before, if you didn't win the pitch, you're still a winner because you got to practice that pitch in front of a lot of people who have a lot of experience in this industry. You're going to, you still can make your film and can get those contacts and those people reaching out to you saying, I want to help make this film. I can fill this role. You can find your cast and crew through HFC and through the pitch event. And like I said, you get all of that feedback on the producibility on your pitch, and you can strengthen your pitch for the next time. And you might want to work on the winning pitch, and you can offer that to the filmmaker and still get to be a part of making somebody else's film. And so should still pitch. All right, so I'm going to drop a link in the chat, and it's got a lot of information about the pitch program. So everything that I went over is going to be available to you at this link, so you can read it for yourself. Hold on. Got a million things going on at once on my screen. Here's the link. Bam. Okay, so we have in there the contract that the winners have to sign, so you can look that over. We have the guidelines and rules for the pitch program. You can read them for yourself. We have frequently asked questions and the answers to those, and all of those pitch assessments that I had in there, and the producibility rubric, they're in there as well, so that you can take a look at that. All right, so
Thank
let me
you,
go.
Taylor.
Oh, I'm not done yet. There's more.
But there's more.
Wait, there's more. Okay, so what's next? If you want to pitch, email me. I am going to send you forms that you have to fill out that has all those requirements for your log line and the treatment and your bio. We're asking you to submit by Thursday, February 17th at 8 p.m. That doesn't mean email me at 7:59, because I have to have that information on those forms for your pitch to be considered. We are taking 6 pitches. That's about what we have time with, or what we have time for at the pitch meeting. So if we have more than 6 submissions, then a team from the HFC executive team will come together to look at the pitches. They will select those 6, and you will be notified before the pitch meeting on Sunday. All right, the pitch meeting is going to be February 20th. Stand by for more information on that time and registration link and all of that. But in the meantime, there's my email. If you're planning on pitching, or you have any questions or need more information, reach out to me and we will get you started to be ready to pitch. Okay, now I'm done.
I just like to just mention that, like, the required things that we have made required are very important, because a lot of the other funding organizations out there in Hawaii that do offer funding do require the exact same things. So if you don't win here, you already set up to apply for another program. And if you do win here, you can also parlay that and get more money. So preparing for HFC pitches, preparing for other organizations as well.
Thank you. And I'm reading through the chat, see if we have any questions.
I tried to address as many as I could in the moment. We had some pretty good questions, but we can take more specific ones now. Yes.
Yes.
So because you guys can take 6, and then if there's more, then we'll be contacted. Does that mean we shouldn't email you to register our pitch until we have all our deck and everything ready?
That is not necessary to wait. If you have that required information right now, because we have, 3 weeks until the pitch, a little less than that. If you have the treatment and the log line and your bio, that's what is required to register to pitch. And then if you take that 3 weeks to really refine your pitch and keep adding other elements to it, that's great. But if you want to let us know now that you do plan to pitch on the 20th, you can send me an email today and I'll get you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Would extras count for the 50% HFC members for the film?
So that could be cast or crew. So as long as total cast and crew is about 50% HFC members, then you're good to go.
Are you saying extras like?
Yeah, like if we were filming at the beach and you have everybody walking around back there.
I'm okay with that being a loose rule. What do you think, team? I know they're only there for 3 hours.
It can be a challenge to get that number based on availability and what roles you need filled. Just that the spirit of that requirement is that HFC members have opportunity to work on each other's films, and you have the support of HFC.
Yeah.
I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in that spirit, let's say we see that a filmmaker who got selected is making a real effort to get a crew together from HFC, and for some reason, whatever, schedules are not working out, they cannot get 50%, but they have other people that want to jump in. We're not going to be in your way.
Yeah.
You guys agree? I mean, we'll be like, sure, you know, you tried, you made a good effort.
No,
You
absolutely.
involve HFC members, they couldn't, you know, just because of timing, whatever, we all have careers, you know, it didn't work out. We'll still support you. It's just a spirit that we're trying to encourage collaboration
Yep.
with HFC. Is that correct, Taylor?
That is correct. Yes, absolutely. Any other questions? No. All right. Well, if they pop up, you have my email, reach out and we'll get them all answered. And same email if you're planning on pitching on February 20th. Okay, our next part, we're gonna have Carlton, our last pitch winner, talk to us about the process of making the film after the pitch and making the film during a pandemic. How are we all feeling? Would we like a 5-minute break or move ahead? Raise your
Move
hand for
ahead.
5-minute break. Raise your hand for move ahead.
Move ahead.
Wonderful. Carlton, your time to shine. And if you have any graphics to share, I can make you a co-host.
No, I don't have anything to share.
Okay.
Right now is just verbal. So hi, everyone. I'm Carlton Saito, as Taylor mentioned. Well, first of all, can you all hear me? Okay. I want the May 2021 pitch for The Heart That Binds. And I guess that was the last pitch, right?
It was, yes.
I do want to thank Mary for putting on the Producers Lab in 2020, because that was invaluable in helping me prepare for this pitch and put together the pitch deck. Okay, so